Okay, now as you can see with the kph unit, we've got all the mechanism on this side here to do the trip odometer, but none of the mechanism on this side to do the odometer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a gear. I'm going to take this mechanism off of the 160 unit because it's going to be the same, or ought to be the same, and put the new gear that I get to make it work. So that's basically how we're going to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is, as I said in the beginning videos, I don't want to start right away tearing into the 260 kilometer unit because of that oops factor, I made a mistake and broke something. I don't want that to happen. So if I make a mistake and I break something, then I've broken it on this spare unit here that is more or less expendable. In fact, when you look at the case that it came in, all rusty and questionable as far as even, whether it was even going to work or not. So, in that sense, when I got this broken, or this used unit, I thought, who knows? It may be totally broken, so we're not really sure. So that's my next step, is to begin to disassemble this, to take that gear out and the little ratcheting mechanism, and make sure that they will fit into the 260 kilometer one. And then I just have to wait for the 20-tooth gear. And 20-tooth gear would be for it to be a kilometers unit. You might be saying, well, why don't you just take the face off of a working one, a 160 one, and put the dial from the 260 on it? And it's because that wouldn't work. I mean, it might show the right number of kilometers, per hour, because when you run the needle up at the maximum speed of the drill, it goes to 60 miles an hour here, and it goes to roughly 80 kilometers or 100 kilometers, I should say, on the 260. So that part of the mechanism is the same, but it wouldn't count the distance traveled properly. So that's why I've got to keep the same one there, and I've got to make sure that I put the proper tooth in there. So the other thing I'm wondering is, why doesn't it have the gear in it? It didn't just break, right? I mean, I look at this, and I looked at it when I first got the car, and I found out that it didn't work. You look at it and you go, there were no broken parts, in the casing. There wasn't a mechanism here and a tooth or so missing off the gear. Everything was missing. The gear, the axle shaft that would go through this hole, the ratcheting mechanism, all completely missing. So, why? Why did they take it off? The previous owner, this was not an accident, somebody deliberately took that piece out. So the question that you would ask yourself, or I would ask, is why? What was their thinking? What was their plan? What was their reasoning for doing so? And for that, I don't have an answer at this point. I can only conjecture. The car, was sold in Italy. It was the color claret when it was new, and it was painted silver with a red interior by the time I got it. So, that's a curiosity. Why would someone have gone to all that effort in prior to 1985? Who knows when it was painted? I don't know. But why did they do that? So we'll find out, or maybe not. But what we are going to do is we're going to successfully get that speedometer and odometer and trip odometer. All of those functions are going to work properly by the time I'm done.